Assalamualaikum and good day to each and everyone. We are the group 1 and we are gonna tackle about the concept of planning. The group members are ABULKHAYR ABULBASIT, Aleah Fayhana Azis, FAIZ DIPATUAN, SITTIE HANINA LAWI, and ANISAH JANNA PANTAO.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am ABULKHAYR ABDULBASIT. The nature of planning. Planning is important as by nature. It inquires about organization goals and involves decision making in order to achieve goals. Without a plan, managers are set up in order to encounter errors, waste, and delays. Here are the nature of planning. Gives an organization a sense of direction. Planning is futuristic. Planning decides the plan of action, what is to be done, how is it to be done, when it is to be done, by whom is it to be done. Without plans, organizations merely react to daily occurrences without considering what will happen in the long run. Planning is goal-oriented. Focuses attention on objective and results. Plans keeps the people who carry them out focused on the anticipated results. In addition, keeping sight of the goal also motivates employees. Establishes a basic teamwork. Planning coordinates the what, who, whom, where, and why it is planning. Without coordination of all activities, we cannot have united efforts. Diverse groups cannot effectively cooperate in joint project without an integrated plan. Helps anticipate problems and cope with change organization. Continually faced environmental uncertainty in the course of accomplishing tasks. Organizations meet this challenge largely through planning safeguards. When management plans, it can help forecast future problems and make any necessary changes upfront to avoid them. Provides guidelines and decision making. Decisions are future-oriented. Planning becomes a necessity when there are many alternatives to do a job. A planner chooses the most appropriate alternative. It can be asserted that planning is a process of selecting the best and rejecting the inappropriate. If management doesn't have any plans for the future, they will have the few guidelines for making current decisions. Serves as prerequisite to employing all other management functions. Planning is primary because without knowing what an organization wants to accomplish, management can intelligently undertake any of the other basic managerial activities.
Good day to each and everyone. I am Aleah Fayhana and we are going to tackle about the hierarchy of planning or major and other types of plans. So since managers could be occupying positions in any of the various management levels, it will be useful for them to know some aspects of planning undertaking the different management levels. So we have here 3 different management levels. First is the strategic planning for the top management. So strategic planning refers to the process of determining the major goals of the organization and the policies and strategies for obtaining and using resources to achieve those goals. In here, the whole company is considered, specifically its objective and its current resources. The output of strategic planning is the strategic plan, which spells out the decision about long-range goals and the course of action to achieve those goals. So here, the top-level managers are responsible for organizing and overseeing the whole organization. Next is the intermediate planning for middle managers. The intermediate planning refers to the process of determining the contribution that subunits can make with allocated resources. In here, the goals of a subunit are determined and a plan is prepared to provide a guide for the realization of the goals. It is designed to support the strategic plan. So here, the middle level managers are responsible for executing the organization's plans. So the last management level is the operational planning for lower management. So the operational planning is the process of determining how specific tasks can best be accomplished in time with available resources. It must be performed in support of the strategic and intermediate plans. So the low-level management here are responsible for execution and deliverables of the tasks. The lower-level managers here are responsible for being the role model of the employees of the organizations. Since we are done with different management levels, let us proceed to the other types of plans. They may be classified in terms of functional areas, time horizon, and frequency of use. So first, let us talk about the functional area plans. So here we have four functional areas. So first is the marketing plan. It is the written document or blueprint for implementing and controlling an organization's marketing activities related to a particular marketing strategy. So here in the marketing plan, it is where do natin ipaplan or do natin ilalagay yung strategy kung paano ba natin isi-sell yung product natin, how we will market it to the people or to our customers. Next is the production plan. It is a written document that states the quantity of output a company must produce in broad terms and by product family. So dito naman sa production plan is from the word production, how many or gaano karami ang mapoproduce or ipoproduce natin in broad terms and by product family. And for example is how many shoes are we gonna produce, and how many clothes are we gonna produce for this term and for this term that we think we will be able to sell. So next is the financial plan. Financial plan is a document that summarizes the current financial situation of the firm, analyzes financial needs, and recommends a direction for financial activities. So here in financial plan, from the word financial, it is where money is considered. So financial means yung gasto or yung magiging gasto natin for certain products. We're gonna included na doon yung salaries, the salaries of the employees, and then the resources or the equipments that we will be needing, and of course the company's allocation or the building, considered na din doon sa financial plan. So the next is the human resource plan. Human resource plan is a document that indicates the human resource needs of a company detailed in terms of quantity and quality and based on the requirements of the company's strategic plan. So here in the human resource is, dito natin ipaplanahin yung ilan employees, how many employees do we need, and we are gonna look for a better manpower. So that are the 4 types of functional areas. So next is the plans with time horizon. So we have here 2, the short range plans and long range plans. So the short range plans are plans intended to cover a period of less than 1 year, while the long range plans are plans covering a time span of more than 1 year time. Last other types of plans is plans with a varied frequency of use. So we have here also 2. So first is the standing plans. These are plans that we used again and again, and they focus on managerial situations that recur repeatedly. So there are 3 to be considered in standing plans. First is the policies. It refers to broad guideline used by managers to help make decisions and take action in specific circumstances. So in the word policies, it will be the law of the company, for example. Next is the procedures, are plans that describes the exact series of action to be taken in a given situation. And the word procedures, what is, ano ba yung step by step ng mga gagawin in a given situation. Kumbaga, kung may problema, ano ba ang kailangang gawin? Kung may problema sa equipment, ano ba yung step by step? Anong first sasabihin sa boss? Ganyan, ganito. Next, last is the rules. So rules are statements that either require or forbid a certain actions. So rules, dyan naman nakalagay kung ano ang dapat gawin at hindi dapat gawin. The next, single-use plans. So these plans are specifically developed to implement courses of action that are relatively unique and are unlikely to be repeated. So first, we have here 3, the budget plan, program plan, and project plan. First is the budget plan. Sets forth the projected expenditures for certain activity and explains where the required funds will come from. Next is the program plan. Is designed to coordinate a large set of activities. And lastly, the project plan is usually more limited in scope than the program plan and is sometimes prepared to support a program.
Good day everyone, my name is FAIZ DIPATUAN, and today I'm going to discuss the mission, vision, goals, objectives, and values in an organization. So, in the process of planning, these are essentially important because before you can even proceed on executing the plan, it is a must for you to take these 4 into account. You have to consider them all the time so that you won't lose in track with what your organization is aiming for. And in the case of being the leader in an organization, one of the requirements that you have to attain is to ensure that your personal vision, mission, and values are aligned with to those of the organization. But if not, then consequences are the company's policies will most likely to have inconsistencies, people and members will be confused, and the organization itself won't be able to move in the same direction. So, as the leader, it is your responsibility to define these 4 things that everyone in your organization will share with. Now, what are these vision and mission things really are? First, defining a vision. It is the commonly shared picture of what the organization want and is committed to become sometime in the future. It acts as the company's compass throughout your journey, and it is what you guys imagine on what would your state in the future would look like. It is in the terms of your organization's service, customers, stakeholders, core, competencies, processes, and structure. Then, for your mission, this is what makes your organization unique from others. It distinguishes itself from others by defining the purpose of your organization's existence, and it answers the question, who are we and why do we exist? Now, thirdly, for the goals. These are the precise statements of results sought, quantified in time and magnitude, where possible. It is the set of concrete results that your organization intends to achieve within a specified period. But your goals are not separate or different things from your vision and mission. Actually, it is derived from a sound and clear understanding of the vision and mission or purpose of the organization. So, when setting your company's goals, it should be specific, measurable, attainable, result-focused, and time-bound, or in short, SMART. Now, while the organization's objectives, these are the prime parts of your plan. This is the estimated end results that or direction desired or expected by the organization in the future. Objectives are usually expressed in quantifiable manner because in this way, as they are measurable, these objectives can motivate your team by showing them how close they are to completing the objective. This is important because it helps you easily track how you're progressing and identify if anything's going wrong in achieving your desired outcome. And now, lastly, the organization's value. These are the fundamental and shared beliefs that will provide the organization's behavior in meeting its objectives and in dealing with others. Its role is the organization's moral compass. It helps you answer the question on what is the important in your organization, and moreover, these goals are conditioned conditions to be achieved in the future. Thus, it must be defined consistent with their vision and mission.
The formal planning process. So first is setting organization, divisional, or unit goals. The first task of the manager is to provide a sense of direction to his firm if he is the CEO, to his division if he heads a division, or to his unit if he is a supervisor. So if everybody in the firm or in division or in unit is aware of the goals, there is a big chance that everybody will contribute his share in the realization of such goals. A company goal is to expand market share by 20%. A division goal is to increase the number of products manufactured and sold by the company. Unit goal is to increase the number of product managers. So next is developing strategies or tactics to reach goals. So after determining the goals, the next task is to devise some means to realize them. The ways chosen to realize the goals are called strategies, and this will be the concern of top management. So the middle and the lower management will adapt their own tactics to implement their plans. So strategy is a course of action aimed at ensuring that the organization will achieve its objectives. Tactic is a short-term action by management to adjust to negative or external influences. They are formulated and implemented in support of the firm's strategies. So next is determining the resource needed. So when particular sets of strategies and tactics have been devised, the manager will then determine the human and non-human resources required by such strategies and tactics. So take note that even if the resource requirements are currently available, they must be specified. Next is setting standard. The standards for measuring performance may be set at the planning stage. When actual performance doesn't match with the planned performance, corrections may be made or reinforcements given. Standard is a quantitative or qualitative measuring device designed to help monitor the performance of people, capital, goods, or processes. The minimum number of units that must be produced by a worker per day in a given work situation.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. I am ANISAH JANNA PANTAO from ABM 11.4. So I'm going to discuss about the planning tool and techniques. Planning is done so that some desired results may be achieved. At times, however, failure in planning occurs. But planning may be made successful by recognizing the planning barriers, by using the aids in planning, and by adapting appropriate tools and techniques in planning. So number one, recognizing the planning barriers. Various barriers can inhibit successful planning. In order for plans to be effective and to yield to desired results, managers must identify any potential barriers and work to overcome them. The common barriers that inhibit successful planning are as follows. So first is managers' inability to plan or inadequate planning. Managers are not born with the ability to plan. Some managers are not successful planners because they lack the background, education, and ability. Others may have never been taught how to plan. Then, when these two types of managers take the time to plan, they may not know how to conduct planning as a process. So, second is improper planning process. So, the development of a plan is hard work. It is much easier for a manager to claim that he or she doesn't have the time to work the required planning process than to actually devote the time to develop a plan. The latter, of course, would save them more time in the long run. So next is lack of commitment to the planning process. Fear of failure of manager may result to choosing to do little thing or nothing to help in the planning process at all. The next is improper information. Facts are out of date, of poor quality, or of insufficient quantity can be major barriers to planning. No matter how well managers plan, if they are basing their planning on inferior information, their plans will probably fail. So next is focusing on the present at the expense of the future. So failure to consider the long-term effects of a plan because of emphasis short-term problems may lead to trouble and preparing for the future. Managers should try to keep the big picture, their long-term goals in mind when developing their plans in order to be successful in planning. Next barrier is too much reliance on the planning department. Many companies have a planning department or planning and development team. These departments conduct studies to research, build models, and project probable results, but they do not implement plans. Planning department results are aids in planning and should be used only as such. So next is concentrating only on the controllable variables. Managers can find themselves concentrating on the things and events that they can control, such as new product development, but then fail to consider outside factors such as a poor economy. One reason may be that manager demonstrate and decided the preference for the known and aversion to the unknown. Second, to which the planning may be made successful, is using the aids in planning. To do so, you have to gather as much information as possible, you have to develop multiple sources of information, and you have to involve others in the planning process. So the number three, or the last one, is appropriate tools and techniques. It contains two techniques, which is qualitative techniques and quantitative techniques. Qualitative techniques is the use of intuition and subjective judgment in planning. Quantitative techniques is the use of rational and analytical methods in planning. Quantitative techniques contain other three techniques as well. So they are forecasting, scheduling, and management by objectives. Forecasting is the attempting to predict future. Scheduling is the planning time for completion of activities, and management by objectives is a philosophy of converting organizational objectives to personal objectives. So that will be all. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
That will be all for the concept of planning. I hope you learned something. Once again, we are Group 1 and thank you for watching.